We are talking about the nusuk. What does nusuk mean? Nusuk means, do you remember? Ibadah. Nusuk means ibadah, worship. And so a worshiper is called in Arabic a nasik, or he's called an abid, worshiper. And when we say nusuk in this way, though, we mean a particular worship, which is the Hajj or the Umrah. What is the Hajj? The Hajj is a mission to the Kaaba for the worships that are done there. It's a mission to the Kaaba for the worships that are done there. That's what Hajj is. And what is the Umrah? Umrah is a visit to the Kaaba for the worships that are done there. Okay. So what does this nusuk look like? It has many facets and it has many layers, and its details overlap. So let's take a look. The nusuk, it includes several things. Let's list them. One is going to be ihram, and we'll come back and explain, inshallah. Two is going to be Arafah. Three is going to be tawaf. Four is going to be sa'i. Five is going to be halq or taqsir. Halq or taqsir. Yani, ihram. I will explain these, inshallah. And there's more. There's more to the nusuk than this. But let's try to lay it out smoothly. Now, these things here, they all apply to Hajj and Umrah. Let's see. So we have Hajj and we have Umrah. Okay. So, Ihram, does it apply to Hajj? Yes. Does it apply to Umrah? Yes. Arafah, let me ask you. Arafah, does it apply to Hajj? Yes. How about Umrah? No, correct. Does Tawaf apply to Hajj and Umrah? Both, yeah, and the rest of these are for both. So Tawaf is in Hajj and Umrah. And Sa'i is in Hajj and Umrah. And Halq, which is shaving, Taqsir, which is trimming, applies to both Hajj and Umrah. Okay. So what are these things here? And are they exactly the same for both Hajj and Umrah? Not exactly. Let's see. So when it comes to the Ihram for Hajj, what's the case? Case for Ihram for Hajj is only during Hajj months. The Ihram for Umrah, though, is when? Anytime. Any time of the year. Yani, no particular time. Okay. And Arafah is only for Hajj, not for Umrah. What is Arafah? Arafah is, yani, a place. Arafah is a place. You have to be there. That's part of the nusuk. When do you have to be there? And by the way, what are these Hajj months here? Yes, so this means we need to know the Hajj timeline. What is the Hajj timeline? Let's see. So you have, let's start with Ramadan, which is outside of the Hajj timeline. But let's start there to see something. So you have Ramadan. Then what's after Ramadan? Shawwal. So from the first of Shawwal, which is Eid. So from Shawwal first, which is Eid, this is when the Hajj month starts. So right after Ramadan, the Hajj months start. Then after Shawwal is Dhul Qa'dah. Then after Dhul Qa'dah is Dhul Hijjah. Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah. Okay. So this means the entire month of Shawwal, the entire month of Dhul Qa'dah, and then Dhul Hijjah, how long? So once Dhul Hijjah comes in, then you have the 10th of Dhul Hijjah is what? Eid. The first of Shawwal is what? Eid. So then you have all this time here. From the Eid until from the Eid until the Eid. But not the whole Eid time until Fajr. Fajr of the Eid. Yani it's over. Arafah is over at the Fajr of Eid. And then you cannot make ihram for Hajj. So let's say here, dawn of Eid. The dawn of Eid. The 10th. Okay. So all of this is the time for ihram. This red line here is ihram time. Okay, that's clear, inshallah. And when we say you got into the state of ihram, this implies that some things are haram. Some things that are not ordinarily haram become haram. We'll come back to that because right now we want to just take a quick look at the Hajj timeline. But seeing that you could make ihram from the Eid al-Fitr, then you want to be mindful if you really want to put yourself to that challenge, the challenge of being in ihram for all that time. Because it means what? It means cannot put grease in your hair, cannot clip your nails, cannot be with your spouse, cannot get married, you cannot hunt. Okay. So then, that's the ihram time. So when we look at number one here, we saw when the ihram time for Hajj is only during the Hajj months. What does Hajj month mean? It means Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, and Dhul Hijjah up to the dawn of the 10th, which is the Fajr of the Eid. Okay. And number two is Arafah, which is a place. This does not pertain to Umrah. Rather, it's just for Hajj. And so this will be applicable during the Hajj time. When exactly the Arafah time fits here? Arafah. But we need to zero in. Let's do a zoom in. Here's a zoom in for time. So you have zenith. That's when the sun is at its highest point of the day. Right before Zuhr, zenith, istiwa. And then Zuhr comes in when the sun tilts into the west. Zuhr comes in when the sun tilts into the west. So this is called, this tilting here is called zawal. Zawal is when Zuhr starts. And if this is the ninth here, if this is the ninth of Dhul Hijjah, then this is also when Arafah starts. So Arafah starts when Dhuhr starts, but on a particular day, at a particular place. So we have Dhuhr, and we have at Dhuhr time, Arafah started. Now, after Dhuhr comes what? After Dhuhr comes Asr. Even more here. Asr. This is still time for Arafah. After Asr comes Maghrib. And Maghrib is when? Maghrib marks the 10th. The 10th starts at Maghrib. This is Eid. That's when Eid starts, at Maghrib time. Still Arafah time though. Then Isha comes in. Still Arafah time until Fajr comes in. Arafah time is over. So then, as you can see, Arafah time extended from Dhuhr to Asr to Maghrib to Isha, all the way until Fajr. Fajr is the cutoff. So this is the Arafah time here. This is Arafah time. All this part of the circle here. The top of the circle is the ninth, starting at Zawal. And Maghrib itself marks the 10th. That's Eid. And then Arafah time ends when Fajr comes in. Now, if you did not get into the state of Ihram and make it to Arafah before Fajr, then khalas, you missed it. So now you can see how Arafah is special to Hajj. There's a tight schedule there for the Hajj. There's an appointment you can't miss in Hajj. You're going to miss the Hajj. So now we see the Arafah is for Hajj, not for Umrah. Arafah starts at Zawal of the 9th of Dhul Hijjah until Fajr. Okay. Tawaf. Tawaf is in both Hajj and Umrah. Um, so, how do you do the Tawaf? Or before that? Because we're looking at a timeline here. Timeline. So, where is Tawaf in the timeline? We saw where Ihram is. Starts from the 1st of Shawwal and goes until the Fajr of Eid al-Adha. Then the time of Ihram for Hajj is over. And we saw when Arafah comes in. Where is the Tawaf in the timeline? Going back to this circle here, Tawaf comes in when midnight. So the time of Tawaf comes in when on Eid. So you see, I positioned that between Isha and Fajr here. Midnight. So you can see where it is in the timeline. This is the time for Tawaf. And this is the time for Halq or Taqsir. And this is the time for something that I didn't mention to you yet, which is throwing the pebbles at Jamratul Aqabah. So if we go back up, we see the time for Ihram. We see the time for Arafah. And sorry, if we go back up, we covered Ihram. And we covered Arafah. Now, in terms of talking about the timeline, we just showed when Tawaf comes in on the timeline and where the shaving and trimming come in on the timeline. Why did we skip Sa'i? For something I want to tell you. And this is one of the reasons why I mentioned in the beginning of the lesson. The chapter of Hajj has layers and its details overlap. So here's a case of what I call overlapping. So when does Sa'i come in? You need to know. First of all, answer to the question. Sa'i is after Tawaf. Okay. Sa'i is after Tawaf. So you might say, okay, why are you making a big introduction? Sa'i is after Tawaf. So according to the timeline here, Tawaf comes in at midnight. Make Tawaf and then make Sa'i. So first of all, then yes, and I'm reviewing with you here. This is unraveling for me more and more. So yes, the time of Sa'i is linked to the Tawaf, not the midnight per se. The time of the Sa'i is linked to the Tawaf, not to midnight per se. That's one thing, but what I wanted to tell you is that you should know that there's 3 different Tawafs. There's 3 different Tawafs. There is Tawaf Qudum, arrival. Tawaf of arrival. I don't have a lot of space here, so let me just. Arrival Tawaf. And there is, I'm just going to say, obligatory Tawaf or I can use a different word other than obligatory. Integral tawaf. The integral tawaf, that's the one that you supposed I was talking about when I said tawaf here. The one that's the integral. And there is another one called farewell. Farewell tawaf. And I'm not talking here about a sunnah tawaf that you do like a sunnah prayer. I'm talking about these three in particular. They have names. So what's the rule? The rule is that sa'i is after tawaf. Tawaf. No, there's more than one kind of tawaf. Then, if I do arrival tawaf, can I do sa'i? Since sa'i comes after a tawaf? Yes. You could do sa'i after doing an arrival tawaf, which would mean what? That would mean that it's possible to have your sa'i before the integral tawaf. It's possible to have sa'i before the integral tawaf. That's very beautiful how that works like that. This chapter of Hajj, the fiqh chapter of Hajj, is amongst the things that make me more sure that the religion was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he didn't make it up. Because the intricacy that Hajj has, without having any contradictions in it, I don't think a person can achieve it just on his own. I don't think someone can make up something like this with all of its intricacies, all of its details, and there's no contradiction anywhere. No inconsistency anywhere. Okay. Is this clear so far? Now, there's still some days to add here. The 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. What are those days? Can you tell me what are those days, the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th? Why? Yes, the days of Tashriq. So the 11th, 12th, and 13th are days of Tashriq. Now, in these days of Tashriq, there's still some nusuk to do. Because we still have the issues of the wajibs of Hajj. Throwing the stones at the three stations, and also spending the night at Mina, and also spending the night at Muzdalifah. So this is going to need its own time to talk about it. There's other wajibs of Hajj too. So we'll have to talk about that, inshallah, in its own section, the wajibs. Okay, now this is your timeline. I will end here for you by mentioning for you that it is possible that a person can hurry away before the sun goes down, before Maghrib of the 12th. If you depart before Maghrib of the 12th, then you don't have to do the things on the 13th. It's permissible. But if you are still there, when Maghrib comes in, then you would be obligated to also do the things, the obligations on the 13th. Any question?